In this age of new normal, online is not your only option. Because new normal means new learning modalities and new learning possibilities. Let Vibal make learning offline possible with Smart Class. Smart Class contains pre-made daily modules sequenced according to DepEd's budgeted teaching and learning calendar. Each module has a specific lesson duration and has day markers to guide parents and teachers in the asynchronous learning of learners. Inside the modules available in Smart Class, you will find the following elements. First, learning competencies are identified in the module openers. Kickstarters are available to test students' prior knowledge on the subject matter. This set of activities, found at the beginning of each lesson, may also serve as motivational activities. Parents of preschool to grade 2 students will also find notes to parents which contain tips and pointers on how they can guide their child while learning at home. Redefine your students' learning experience with the integration of augmented reality technology into images and illustrations available in Smart Class, making learning more interactive and exciting. At the end of each module, Long Quiz is also available to assess students' understanding of the lesson. Smart Class also features Wrap Up, a lesson ender activity that applies the constructivism theory of learning. In Wrap Up, students are expected to summarize the lesson on their own using a graphic organizer. You may also evaluate the quality of your students' learning by letting them practice their learning in real life through GRASP's formatted performance tasks. The content of Smart Class is designed for the entire academic year, and it is available for 5 major subjects. All aligned with DepEd's K-12 curriculum and covers the most essential learning competencies prescribed by DepEd. Secure your own copy of Smart Class before classes open. Contact marketing@vibalgroup.com to know more.
Good day, Kabibal, and welcome to our Teachers' Day webinar series. For the discussion this afternoon, our topic will be Teachers are Role Models of Holistic Development. Before we begin, kindly take note of the following reminders. Make sure you're registered to the webinar to have your e-certificate of participation. Visit certificate.vibalgroup.com to generate your proof of attendance. Place your questions in the comment box allotted during the session and they will be addressed by our speaker later on. Share the video using hashtag LearnAsOnePH as our official hashtag to our Vival webinars. Experience learning, Kabibal. And now to proceed with our webinar this afternoon, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our distinguished speaker. Dr. Catherine V. Miranda is a full-time educator at the Department of Education Division of Pampanga. Currently, she is the coordinator of the English department at Santa Ana National High School. A graduate of Doctor in Philosophy, major in Educational Management at the University of Assumption, with a dissertation on the lifelong learning perspectives and experiences of educational leaders. She received her Master of Arts in Education and bachelor's degree in education at the Capital University and was a recipient of the 10 Outstanding Students of the Philippines in regional level. A freelance writer, editor, researcher, and humanitarian. Ms. Miranda considers herself a lifelong learner. She is known for her dynamic engagement in numerous professional organizations such as the Beyond Books publication where she is the national advocate, Leadership and Education Academy and Development, in which she serves as the coordinator and active member of International Organization of Educators and Researchers Incorporation. Her philosophy in life is to never stop learning. She believes that lifelong learning gives us a liberating feeling and the power to discover the truth while making a difference and impact in our society. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Catherine V. Miranda.
Thank you so much. Okay. Am I heard po?
Yes po, ma'am.
So, a pleasant afternoon to all our kabibal. I am very humbled and honored to be given a chance to be with you today. And the topic that I was assigned to give to you today is about teachers are role models of holistic development. By the way, I am Catherine B. Miranda from the Department of Education, Division of Pampanga, and currently connected with Santa Ana National High School. Okay, so let's start with our targets for the day, our goals, objectives for the day. First is to define the concept of holism or holistic or the whole person development. Second is to cite several theories regarding holistic development. And third is to discuss how teachers can help learners develop holistically. Okay, we all know that as teachers, we have many roles to play. So in our screen there, you have seen all these roles that the teachers portray every day in our lives. But above all else, teachers are known to be role models because they lead by example. Let me share to you this one maxim coming from a physician who broke the barriers in education, a proponent of a child-centered approach named Maria Montessori. According to her, education cannot be effective unless it helps a person open up himself to life. Now, education is useless if in the end people will not be able to reach self-actualization. Now, let me share to you a brief history of holism or holistic education. Holism actually came from the Greek word holo, which means whole, entire, and complete. Now, holistic educators seek to educate not just the brain, but the human as a whole. So, this is according to A. Johnson of 2010. He said that holistic education is not about just trying to educate the brain or the cognitive level of a person, but it's about trying to educate the human as a whole. And even Socrates was known for this because according to him, each person should know her or his own self. And this is most popularly known as the Know Thyself by Socrates. According to the UNESCO, in 1996, education must contribute to the all-around development and multiple dimensions of each individual. So when we say multiple dimensions, we are not just talking about the cognitive level, we are not only talking about the social, but also the other aspects of a person, including the psychological, the personal, the personal responsibility and other facets of life of a person. Now, according to the International Handbook of Holistic Education, the very core of holistic education is actually it's about finding meaning and purpose of an individual. And the goal or the ultimate goal of holistic education is to be able to discover the inherent respect for life and love for learning. So this is the very core of holistic education. The very end goal is to be able to know uh, love for learning and respect for life. And this is mentioned in the International Handbook of Holistic Education. Okay, let me continue. Now, when we say holistic, from Forbes 2003, he said that holistic development is about focusing on the possible development of a person, encouraging that person to become the very best of what he is, and enabling him to reach his or her goals in life. Okay, that's according to Forbes of 2003. Another author named John Hare of 2010 said that the aims of holistic education are as follow, and these are to prepare students for a fulfilling and productive life. Okay, so we need to prepare our students, our learners, not just to be intellectually sound, but also what we are after at is for them to eventually have a fulfilling and a productive life after they have undergone formal education. Second is to assist our learners on their personal discovery of themselves, promote the importance of relationships or social interactions, and use life experiences and learning as a means to personal discovery, growth, and broadening of one's horizons. So, meaning holistic education is not only about teaching from the book and telling our students to learn this and that. It's more than that. It's about making that person into an individual that is uh, uh, who is going to be a self-actualized individual in the future. So that is according to John Hare of 2010. Okay, so when we say holistic development, like I said earlier, it is not just based on academic lessons that learners learn in the classroom. It's learning beyond the classroom, and it is broadening one's horizon, examining critically the other aspects of life, thinking differently and creatively. It is about being productive and making use of one's skills and attributes and becoming lifelong learners. So when we say a person is a lifelong learner, the person is open-minded. The person is able to, the person will look for ways wherein he is going to fulfill or reach his life goals. Of course, by uh, not just studying hard in school, but by following all of these steps that are in the slides right now. So when we say becoming a lifelong learning, it is not just about learning the lessons in school, but it's about learning life itself. Okay, so it's about learning life itself. Okay, so let me proceed with the Journal of Holistic Education. According to the Journal of Holistic Education, the three R's, the basic three R's, which is originally the reading, writing, and arithmetic, it is now being swapped into the three new R's in holistic education. And these are relationships, responsibility, and reverence for life. So, for holistic education, these three R's are now breaking the barriers. These are very crucial concepts that we need to imbibe in our educational system. So, as what is said here or what is mentioned here in this Journal of Holistic Education, reading, writing, and arithmetic, to relationships, responsibility, and reverence for all life. Because when we say holism, It is a given system in any field of study that cannot be determined or explained by the sum of its component parts, because what we are focusing at, is the whole, the totality of the person or the individual, the total well-being of the person or the learner. Okay, now R. Miller, 2000, said that holistic education has goals, and we have four. First goal of holistic education is that children need to learn about themselves. And this is about boosting their self-respect and self-esteem. So the first goal of holistic education is for us to bring out the best in our learners by uplifting their self-respect and self-esteem. Second goal of holistic education is children need to learn about relationships or social relations. So as you can see here, there is a focus on the social literacy and emotional literacy. When we say social literacy, this is about learning to see social influence. And when we say emotional literacy, it is how we perceive ourselves in relation to other people. So these two literacies are very crucial in holistic education. The third goal of holistic education is for children to learn about resilience. So in this day and age, especially in the time of pandemic, we need to teach our learners, our students, how to be resilient. And as being mentioned here by R. Miller, when we say resilient, it is about how we overcome our difficulties, our problems and circumstances, so that we are able to cope with the problems that we are encountering at the moment or in the future. Okay, for our fourth goal in our holistic education, children need to learn about aesthetics. And this encourages the students to see the beauty of what is around them and learn to have wonder, astonishment, and curiosity in life. So, all of these, according to Miller, are the goals of holistic education. In the meantime, Longworth and Davis, 1996, mentioned that holistic education is about applying one's learning in real life with ease, confidence, and pleasure in all circumstances and environment. As you can see in our diagram here, illustration, there is this holistic education found in the middle, and then there are other components surrounding the holistic education. So the hands-on lessons, core academics, emotional development, critical thinking skills, conflict resolution skills, character formation, healthy social skills, and manners. So these are the important concepts that we need to take note of in the holistic education. And as what Longworth and Davis said, that holistic education is trying to learn in real life with confidence and with ease. No? So this is being confident about how we go on with our lives by applying what we have learned and what we have experienced in our day-to-day activities. Okay. So now, let's go to the holistic whole person development. According to S. Monica, 2018, human life is complex and it consists of many different facets. We have our work life, our home life, our social life, and our spiritual life. Now, so if you would be looking at this um, statement by S. Monica, she said that human life is really very complex and has a different aspects. Okay, so there are many aspects in our life that uh, we need to face every day. So when we say whole person development, it is actually a practice based on the theory that different parts of our lives are intricately connected. So every aspect or facet of our lives are all interconnected. And this views success and fulfillment as a product of our overall life balance. So, very inspiring statement coming from S. Monica. Okay, so S. Monica also mentioned that there are 6 areas of whole person development. First is the emotional aspect of the whole person development. Of course, when we say emotions, these shape who we are, and they give rise to our reactions, our connections with others, adaptation to change, and the ability to handle stressful situations. Also, for the emotional whole person development is trying to develop our emotion. And actually, they said that EQ is better than high IQ, and it is a driver for success. It gives way to learning more about oneself and our real essence. The second, okay, emotional intelligence helps us in many different ways. First is it creates leadership skills, social skills, and also self-help skills. Second, the capability to recognize our emotions, to guide our thinking and emotions. And also, it helps people relate and empathize with others. A person who is emotionally intelligent would always know how to socialize with other people and is always matured enough to handle different situations. So that is what is uh, beneficial about having a high emotional intelligence. Okay, now going to the second aspect of the whole person development is the physical aspect. So when we say physical aspect, we all know that this relates to the overall concern that we do for our physical health. And these are just examples of this: eating the right foods, exercising to maintain a healthy body, and getting enough sleep. Along with that is we also need to know how to manage our stress and engage in fitness and wellness programs. Next, for the spiritual whole person development, so when we say spiritual aspect, this is finding purpose and connecting with ourselves, with what is around us or the world around us. It might be in the form of our faith, a meditation, prayer, or being in nature and our interaction with God. So a person who is spiritually sound, we can say that he or she is compassionate and does have a positive relationship, a sense of purpose, is an honest person and an optimist, and of course has inner peace. For the fourth aspect of the whole person development is the social aspect. So when we say social aspect, we all know that this is about how we maintain a smooth, good personal relationship with other people. It is about how we interact with the people around us. It is about presenting ourselves in a variety of different social environments and situation. And it is also about not it's about avoiding prejudging others, because most of the time people would really prejudge other people. So if we are socially matured, and if we are very good at this aspect, we try to avoid prejudging others. Of course, we have the ability also to accept diversity and the different culture around the world, and respecting personal space and opinions of others, because we are all entitled to our own opinions. So we need to respect the opinions of others and their personal space as well. Now, for the fifth aspect of the whole person development is the psychological. So when we say psychological aspect, this is about knowing our inner self, our true inner self. It's about having self-esteem and self-acceptance, because the moment you accept yourself, everything else will follow. And also it creates self, because self-belief, according to S. Monica, creates optimism, the drive and motivation, and also eventually success in our uh, future life. Okay, so our relationship with ourself. Okay, let me highlight this part here on the psychological aspect. As Monica said, that our relationship with ourself is arguably the most crucial driver of success, because it will all start within ourselves and the way we see ourselves. Okay, we also have professional aspect. According to S. Monica, there is this professional aspect also in the whole person development. We spend a lot of time at work, and it makes sense that our professional life and happiness are closely linked. Now, it is true that we are all very connected with our profession, especially us educators. But let us take time to ponder on the essential professional skills that would help us to become effective and efficient as professionals. So these you have here in our slide, you can see there is a need to be able to master these skills, so will be more effective and efficient. You have here the public speaking, the flexibility. You need to know how to be flexible at all times with all the many roles that you have. For example, I am already a working mother, a career woman, so I need to balance my time with my profession, and at the same time my role as a mom and as a wife. Okay, so many roles to perform, but you need to be flexible. Okay, there is also this teamwork, no, the skill on communication. Of course, time management is very important for us, workers or professionals. We need to know how to manage our time wisely, because time is really precious. And of course, leadership skills. A professional must also have leadership skills and personal skills. These essential professional skills are very important, very essential, so we will be able to perform effectively and efficiently. And of course, uh, we are not going to how do you say this? For us to be more uh, effective in our different roles as a person. Okay. So here there is a quotation below. Every job comes with problems and stressors, but if you are generally happy and doing something that fulfills you, you will feel accomplished. So the bottom point here is, no matter how many stressors and problems are there in the workplace, The only secret is to be really happy with what you are doing. Because once you are happy with what you are doing, you will never get tired of doing those works that you do every day in the workplace. Okay, now there is this new roles and challenges for educators. So the roles for educators is in this day and age, we need to look for ways to effectively teach our students. So there are many strategies and pedagogies that are being utilized by teachers and educators around the world so that they will teach effectively and efficiently. So our role is to always uh, look for ways. Do not stop looking for ways to uh, teach our students in the most effective and efficient way. Second is not just looking for ways, but new and innovative ways in delivering our teaching instruction to our learners. So take note of the words new and innovative because we are already in the 21st century, and of course we need to have a leverage in our teaching instruction. So from the traditional, of course, we are now going to the 21st century teaching. And lastly is another role or challenge for us educators is to create a learning environment where holistic education is emphasized. Little do we know that holistic education is a paradigm which is considered very essential in the 21st century teaching and learning process. So it's about time that we introduce and we observe the use of this new paradigm, the holistic education. So, how do I become a more effective teacher? Okay, so in the slide, we can see that here we are being presented with the multiple intelligences or the MI. We call it the MI in education. So if you're going to look at this slide, there are around 8 of this: emotional, social, musical, physical, linguistic, mathematical, ecological, and visual. So meaning to say that this is coming from Christopher Chase, 2013. So what does this imply to us as educators? Multiple intelligences is very significant as teachers because we really need to know the individual differences of our students. We need to identify their strengths and their weaknesses as students. So how are we able to give them the best pedagogy or teaching strategy if we do not know their weaknesses and strengths? So most of the teachers now use different strategies in teaching, especially when it comes to identifying the multiple intelligences of our students. In my case, as an educator, I think it's very, I believe that it's very important for us educators to really know the multiple intelligences of our students or learners. This one of the best ways wherein we are guided as to how uh, we are going to guide or uh, it's actually about um, giving them the best strategy or teaching instruction because every learner learns in a different phase. Every learner has a strength and has a weakness. So as a teacher, it is your role to really discover what are these strengths and weaknesses of your learners. If they are good at uh, the musical, if they are musically inclined, if they are good in kinesthetics, if they are mathematically sound, if they're good in languages or linguistics. So a teacher must be aware of these, must be very aware of the multiple intelligences so that he or she is able to uh, apply the best strategy in teaching. Now, let us proceed with how we are going to create holistically developed students as a teacher. So as a teacher or an educator, you need to be a 3C teacher. When we say 3C teacher, okay, so these 3Cs are caring, creative, and courageous. So when a teacher is a caring teacher, of course, it's very innate to us as educators to be very caring to our students. We need to know how to show our care to our students. As seen in the slide, as simple as a kind comment or a moment of one-on-one time can help your students feel safe, encouraged, and ready to learn. So a student can really tell if you have this sense of concern to them or not. So 3C starts with the first C of the 3C teacher must be a caring teacher. Second is the creative teacher. So different students require different strategies. So this is what I was saying a while back. So every student has uh, different needs, learning needs. So this requires different strategies to unlock their full potential. Every year, students will challenge you with unique learning abilities or needs. So you need to get creative to uncover what works for each student. So as I was saying a while ago, this is really a very crucial role of a teacher to uncover what works for each student because each student in your class is unique in different ways. So the next one is courageous. The third C of the 3C teacher is being courageous. A teacher should know the new approaches with a solid evidence base, always trying her best or his best to look for new ways. No? So as you can see here in our slide, it says that have the courage to say so and try something else. So if one thing doesn't work, then you need to actually try some other things and see if they works. So caring, creative, and courageous. So let us not forget this 3C of a teacher so that students will become holistically developed. Okay, another thing aside from the 3Cs, okay, so adapted from the fundamentals of literacy, instruction, and assessment, it says here that we need to adopt a lifelong learner mindset. So, what do we mean by a lifelong learner mindset? So, if you are a teacher, you need to read the latest research. Okay? So, here in Pampanga, we are also very thankful to have this culture of research in our division. So, we are always encouraged by our school heads, our supervisors, and our ASDS and SDS to engage in research activities. So we are very thankful to have an active research culture here in Pampanga. Second is, how do we adopt lifelong learner mindset is we need to communicate with the experts, okay? Like commenting on their blogs, connecting with them on Twitter. Uh, this really is a very good learning ground for educators to communicate with experts, although some would find it difficult to communicate with these experts, but it is only it only depends on the person. If you are really uh, have this lifelong learner mindset, you will not be hesitant to communicate with experts, because as you communicate with them, you learn many things. Okay, so a lifelong learner always has a desire to learn and continuously learn. Okay, next, third. So how do we adopt a lifelong learner mindset? This is also one of the best ways. Join professional organizations that put you in touch with the latest information and strategies. I, for one, as a lifelong learner, as a lifelong learner, I believe that once we join in different professional organizations, we don't grow just personally but professionally. We learn so many things from our colleagues. I, for one, is a member of different professional organizations right now, and I was inspired actually by my colleagues in the graduate school, because I learned that continuing education, continuously learning is also through joining professional organizations. We meet different people, we meet the experts. So why not join in these professional organizations? You will definitely have an advancement in your profession. And the last one is to seek out books and blogs with innovative teaching strategies. As what we have said, educators do not, uh, they are not actually, they do not get tired of reading. So I myself also is a reader, and whenever I read a book, I feel as if I how do you call this? If I am reading a book, so many opportunities are being opened for me, because while I am reading, I am learning also. No, so do not get tired of reading books, educational books, and also blogs that are worthy to be read. Okay, so take note, books and blogs with innovative teaching strategies or pedagogies. Okay, let us continue. Now, as a teacher, we need to also teach our students or our kids to learn these 7 important social skills. Simple as they may appear, but these are very important social skills that they need to learn. First is the skill of sharing. Second is the skill of cooperating. Third, listening. Fourth, fourth is to follow directions. Fifth is to respect personal space, which I have mentioned earlier. Six is actually this making eye contact or gesture is also very important, but not so much at this time of pandemic. And also number 7 is the using of manners. Once a child or a learner or a student learns all of this, definitely he is going to improve his or her social skills. Now, so what are the other ways on how we are going to develop a learner holistically? So aside from what I have mentioned a while back, there is also, I would also like to share with you this one. Now, this is what we call the scaffolding in education. So I think some of you have already heard about this, but for those who have not yet have any idea about this, when we say scaffolding in education, this is actually about learning into chunks. And it's about trying to connect old concepts with the new concepts. So the interconnection of the old concepts with the new concepts. Now, as a teacher, what is the best strategy that you can use for you to be able to practice this scaffolding in your teaching? Okay, so the best ways or the best teaching strategies that you can use probably is to make use of the advanced organizer. Okay, so when we say advanced organizers, these are basic principles connecting with the new materials or learnings. So I know more, or I know some teachers who are already adopting this in their teaching, use of advanced organizers, and also the use of the concept and mind maps. Concept and mind maps are actually used to show relationships between concepts. Now, if you will take a look at the picture here in the slide, this is the real scaffolding in a construction. So how about in education? Why is there a need for us to scaffold? Okay, I will give you the benefits of scaffolding. So a number of benefits is given to us by scaffolding instructional approaches in the classroom. First is through scaffolding, there is a personal and emotional impact on our students. So take note that we are after the whole person development of our students. So we're not only trying to educate them uh, and teach them to be good in the class, but also they need to also take note of the personal and emotional aspect of their lives. So through the scaffolding, there is this personal and emotional impact given to our learners. Second is it improves comprehension. Also, it enhances problem solving and creates higher engagement in our learners. So if we want to break the barriers in our educational system now, we need to do away with the traditional type of teaching. And as I said, there must be a leverage in the way we teach our students, and scaffolding is one of them. Okay, so what else are the other teaching strategies that we can utilize so we can develop the holistic aspect or the whole person development of our students or learners. So in our slide, there is the first teaching strategy. Okay, so develop the critical and reflective thinking skills of our learners. So how do we do this? As teachers, how do we develop the critical and reflective thinking skills of our learners? Okay, we are being asked to use the higher order thinking skills in our classes for us to really develop the critical and reflective thinking skills of our learners. So in every lesson, A teacher can also ask his or her students to have their own reflection of learning. So the teacher may really can check whether the student is really learning and what are the important things that she learned out from the topic. So this is one way how we can uh, develop the holistic growth of our students, developing the critical and reflective thinking skills. Second strategy that can be used for holistic education or for the whole person development of a learner is by using the multidisciplinary approach or integration. Let us take note of this. This is a very good strategy or technique in making our students holistically develop, because we are not just teaching them, making them study only one topic, but studying from the viewpoint of different disciplines. That's why we call it integration of subjects. This is very important as a teacher uh, to help a student discover uh, the meaning of a certain lesson and applying it in the different, or getting viewpoints from the different disciplines. Okay, so I myself, I am applying this in my classes. So since I am an English teacher, I would make it a point to connect my lessons with other subjects. For example, if I am teaching the literature and culture of a specific country, it has been my practice to integrate that the other subjects in that particular topic. Okay, so take note of the multidisciplinary approach as a strategy in holistic education. And lastly, meta learning. So when we say meta learning, I'm sure some of you have heard of this already. So when we say meta learning, this is about learning about our own learning, or this is the learning to learn in the four pillars of learning in education. So when a student knows how, or what is the best way for him to learn, he will definitely become so what I mean is a student needs to discover for himself how he is learning, his learning processes, so that uh, he will be more guided by the teacher. Because once you know how you learn, and uh, once you know how to learn, you will be more inspired to look for ways. No? So meta learning is actually very challenging. It is not really being utilized much in our teaching strategies, but I hope that in this day and age, 21st century, most of our teachers will be using or utilizing this meta learning. Okay, so these strategies are all coming from Weng 2018. So I think uh, aside from the strategies that were mentioned a while back, these three are really very challenging to us educators. Imagine developing the critical and reflective thinking skills of our students. Also, using the multidisciplinary approach, and also the meta learning approach as a strategy. Okay. Next, what is really the holistic education's end goal? What is really the ultimate goal of holistic education? So when we say holistic education, it it is about reaching self-actualization. So we all know that a person has this hierarchical needs. Okay, so we have the physiological needs, safety needs, love and belonging, and esteem. And at the top of it all, or the peak of our needs, is the desire to become the most or the best that we can be. This is now what we call self actualization. So, after going through all the processes of the the whole person development, our ultimate goal for the holistic education is really nothing else but to reach self actualization. Our goal is to develop students who are self actualized. And when we say people who are self actualized, these are people who find meaning and purpose in their lives. Okay, so let me share to you this quote or maxim. Discovering who you are today is the first step to being who you will be tomorrow, as what Destiny's Odyssey has said. So in order for you to really succeed in life, it is but important that today you already discover what you really wanted to do. Okay? You need to discover yourself, your innate abilities, your inherent skills and dexterities, so you will be able to succeed in the future, because this is the first step on how you are going to uh, become a self-actualized person. So you need to discover your God-given gifts and talents, and not just discover, but definitely you need to know how to share this with others, and by that you will be uh, definitely feeling a sense of fulfillment and purpose in your life. Okay, so this is what Disney Odyssey has said. Okay, so if there are questions, no, you can, if there are questions, kindly send them at my email or send me a message through my messenger. It's Catherine Miranda. Now I'm giving my credits to Bible Group, Dr. Lenilo Capulso, and family, friends, and colleagues for the support. And these are my references. Okay, that ends my session today on the role of teachers as role models for holistic development.
Thank you so much, Miss Catherine. Now we have some questions here from our viewers. So we'll proceed with our Q&A portion po. The first one is from Miss Lord Lena. What is the teacher's role in supporting play in early childhood classrooms?
Okay. The role of, come again, ma'am, the role of play,
The role of teachers
the role of
in
teachers,
supporting play in early childhood
play.
classrooms.
Okay, play. Okay. So, when early when stud our learners are actually engaged in play, they are being developed not just physically, but also they are also developed how to socialize with other kids, no? So as we have said a while ago, in the whole person development, it is very crucial also. One piece of the puzzle actually is the social aspect. So a teacher must really know how to inject place in her as a teaching strategy, so that she may also develop the socialization skills of the learner, especially in the early childhood years of our learners.
Thank you po, ma'am. For our next question po is from Mr. Ferdinand Kiachon. How will we develop the full potential of students who are studying at home?
Okay. So it is actually a big challenge for us to do that, especially in this time of pandemic. So, but anyway, even if we are just studying or working at home, we are still being guided by the MELCs. And I think the MELCs is we are still being guided, no? So through the use of MELS po, we can say that hindi po tayo nahuhuli, no? Kasi po yung sinusundan natin ng MELS, nandun pa rin po yung mga learning competencies important. That's why we call it the most essential learning competencies. So I think the students can still learn effectively even if they are studying at home, because our lessons are being guided by the MELCs po.
Thank you so much for the next one po. The next question is from Miss Rosemary Moreno. Is developing our learners holistically still possible in modular learning?
Uh, it is a very challenging. It's possible, although it's a challenging one, no, because in our modular learning, uh, we have seen that there is a limited time given to them po. But we are not actually, holistic education is not a one-time shot. It is being done uh, in a process po, no? So we do not uh, achieve holistic education in just a year, no? It is not just achieved like now. It's a pandemic time po, no? It's not going to be achieved just for in a year, but uh, it takes years po before we are going to be holistically developed. It's a challenge for now. I will say it's a challenge, but still, I think, or I believe, uh, some areas can still be uh, improved at this time of pandemic po.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And the next question po is from Miss Ariel Valia. Considering the current situation of our educational system, how teacher can develop the holistic development of a student, what would be the best strategy a teacher can use po? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question, sir. Actually, in our slides, it was already mentioned there that so many teaching strategies can be done for us to develop our students holistically. And if you have noticed the slides there, I have mentioned the use of the meta learning, the use of scaffolding, multidisciplinary approach, or the integration of the different subjects, and also, which I think is very best, is to develop the critical thinking skills of our students. By those strategies, I believe we can help develop our students to become holistically developed.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. And the last question po is from Mr. Francisco Alvarez. What advice can you give to teachers so they can stay motivated and efficient in the new teaching setup, especially for those who are making big adjustments? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that very good question, sir. Uh, yes, we are all adjusting in this time of pandemic, but this is the only advice that I will give. And this advice is actually anchored from the studies that I have uh, gathered for this session. And that is simply, if you have read that slide, I am not so sure about the page or the slide number. It says there that in our profession, we only need to love what we are doing. We need we only need to be happy with what we are doing, no matter the whatever the circumstance is, and whatever is the current situation, or no matter how difficult the time may be. So we only need to love, and we need to be happy with what we are doing, because if we are happy with what we are doing, we will definitely we are not going to be tired of what we are doing. So kailangan po mahalin lang po, at mahal po natin yung ginagawa natin para maging masaya po tayo sa ginagawa natin. So I think it was mentioned in my slides earlier.
Okay, that's all the question that we have for now, ma'am. Any last reminders to our viewers for this afternoon po?
Okay, so again, I would like to thank Vibal Group for this opportunity, also to Dr. Linilo Capulso, and as well to my family and friends who are watching right now. Thank you for your support. Thank you also for the uh, for uh, for the Vibal staff who are very accommodating to me, and to all our viewers this afternoon. I hope I have shared something to you today. No? So I hope you have enjoyed and you have learned something from our session today. That's all, ma'am.
There we have it. In behalf of Ibal Group Incorporated, I would like to thank you, Ma'am Catherine, for being our speaker this afternoon for this insightful learning session. It is truly an honor to have you with us today, Ma'am. And to all our Kabibal viewers, all thanks to you for your continuous patronage to our daily learning session. We encourage you to subscribe and watch on our official Facebook and YouTube channel. Muling maraming salamat at magandang araw sa ating lahat. Goodbye everyone!
Bye. Thank you.